Alright guys, what is up? My name is Zeta. Joining me, Brian. We've got a fantastic treat for you guys tonight. It is the Learning 5's show match. Match number 1. This has been a long time coming, and now the year is 2017 with the return of Team Jump versus Free Jump versus 017.
We do what we must.
Hey, I'm actually muted on stream. Hello, guys. I'm finally here now. These are two staff teams.
It just seemed like I was waiting for nothing. I promise there's another voice. But we're ready,
yes.
And the bands are coming out. We've got Rengar band, we've got Lee Sin, two very strong junglers. What do you think about the current jungle, though? I mean, there's only a couple really strong picks left.
Yeah, I mean, with those two taken off the table, like you said, there's not really a ton left on the table that are really, really high tier right now. I don't know how many high tier picks either of these teams are going to go for, and I believe that they did agree to not do targeted bans, so we're likely just going to see a lot of power picks taken off the table here. Camille is certainly one of them, along with Rengar and Lee Sin that we've seen already. We've got 3 more bans to go, however, and I mean, right now, if we think about the jungle pool, there's the next highest one up, I feel like, is really just Rek'Sai. And after that, you're kind of having to dip pretty far down into the realm of, say, Nidalee and junglers that are similarly low tier at the moment. Unless I've completely forgotten and Nidalee was just buffed this patch. I believe her buffs for her are still upcoming.
So was Nocturne. He was just buffed recently.
Okay, so we could definitely see him on the table as well. With that in mind, Azir's taken off the table. I mean, that's just a shout out to Jump, really, with both of these teams sort of memeing in his general direction.
Oh, 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Gentle? Okay, there we go.
There it is.
Jonathan.
Yeah, so all top tier picks taken off the table here. Nothing really out of the ordinary. The Azir may be a little bit iffy, but that's just a shout out to Jump. As Jump had a legendary showing in one of our staff show matches a few sessions ago now, where he went 0-17 on Azir. So that is the reasoning for 0-17's team name. And then the other one is just some other Jump meme that they came up with in the last few days. But Yasuo is the first pick up for 0-17 here. I'm assuming going into the top lane, Sylph seems to favor... I believe he is going to be playing mid lane for his team here. And he did play Alawi last time. He said he's going to pull it out at some point here as well. I don't think that he would be one to take the Yasuo with that type of pick in mind. But it is certainly possible. Trundle and Zac are the next two that are picked up, this time for Team Free Jump.
Well, Trundle has been known to really get his split push on, but against the Yasuo, do you think he's going to have enough to tear through him?
I think he certainly can. Trundle is really just going to be kind of an unkillable monster in the late game. And that's just generally not something that Yasuo deals particularly well with. Whenever I've played Yasuo at the very least, it felt to me like his weakness has always been somebody that can sort of match his melee range trading, and Yasuo doesn't tend to deal with tanks very well, and he's just going to get pushed around by this Trundle, maybe even early on in the lane, depending on how GentleCat is able to play this out. It's certainly a possibility for it to go either way. I think if the Yasuo snowballs, then he has a big chance of just constantly keeping this Trundle locked down. But if the Trundle gets rolling or does not fall behind, he's just going to run over this Yasuo later.
All right, but with the Zac in hand, the response comes in the form of Ivern and Taric. We know that the Taric is potent in the right hands, but with that much engaged, certainly going to give him some options for that sort of extended dazzle, as it were. And Wandering is now going to lock in the Talia with a backing of Kalista.
Yeah, so Kalista is one of the newer faces that we're starting to see come back with this patch. We did see her a little while ago pop up in competitive play very briefly, just a single game at an IEM event during the off season. But she did just get some big buffs this patch. I just played her once yesterday with the changes, and she feels absolutely fantastic to play again, just like she used to, really. Her lane bullying potential is back. She can push really well, and she can now do all of those things that she could do before, but really without hardly ever running herself out of mana, as her Rend now refunds the cooldown and the entire mana cost on just killing one unit. So we're going to see, it's much simpler
Wait
trading.
a second. That's a Taric mid. Okay, there we go.
Okay, no.
I was getting really worried there.
That would have certainly been interesting. Definitely enough to warrant you pointing that out, but will not be a Taric mid. Not today. Not in
Sylph
this
has pulled
game.
out some stuff that's as
has.
weird as that.
He has.
I wouldn't put it past him.
But yeah, Kalista, she just feels really, really good in lane again, and that's a good place for her to be, I feel like. So it makes sense to see her picked up here. She's just going to be incredibly strong, especially paired with the likes of a Braum. They can really dominate that lane and really try to come out ahead.
Well, it is really hard to pressure Ezreal, though. I mean, he stays so far back in lane. He's so safe as an AD carry. And then on top of that, when you have three supports. I mean, Ivern's essentially utility support at this point anyway. 2 supports, possibly 3, and 2 carries is... It's a good comp, but is it good enough to beat the very traditional, 2 to 3 tank frontline with a bunch of DPS behind it?
Honestly, I think it could be, as Ezreal and Yasuo are 2 champions that really like to play with a lead. If Ezreal can get a large enough lead that he can negate his sort of stagnant power from him initially getting to lane through his first back by having to buy that tier first, then he can really push a lot of pressure. If this Yasuo gets rolling, then he can put a lot of pressure down as well. And there's just so much potential for these 2 carries to really go off, especially with, like you said, the 2 or 3 supports that they have on their team. They can just melt through anything here. They're both fairly high DPS as well. They're not the best tank killers in the game. They're certainly formidable forces for this Trundle and Zac to deal with.
Yeah, it is a proper tough comp. I mean, it is, the essence of traditional versus almost new age. I mean, I was actually surprised that we haven't seen something like the Ziggs, the Cassiopeia bot that's been pervading and just sort of demolishing our solo queue expectations, with the Malzahar supports and everything that's been going on. I expected a little bit more out of the ordinary, but I mean, Karma mid is still not super traditional. It could be very interesting, but certainly. What is your lane to watch? I mean, we talked about the Yas and the Trundle being an unstoppable monster. Like, is that it? Or do you think that this jungler, Execute, he's going to actually really surprise, just completely wreck Toxilry?
Man, it's really hard to say. I want to go back to the Yasuo Trundle and say that that's it, but I feel like the bottom lane has similar potential as well. I think that both of those lanes are ones that we can watch very closely, because with or without jungler interaction, I feel like, especially if the top and bottom lanes both fall behind for 0-17, then they're just going to get completely run over because they really have no damage left. But if they get ahead, then that is literally their entire comp. That's the point of this composition. They need those 2 carries to get rolling, and then all of their supports can be there through thick and thin. It doesn't really matter how well the mid lane jungler or the support does as far as KDA or where their item spikes are, as not nearly as much at least. But there is also the potential in the jungle. I think that could also go either way. If the Zac is able to gank more effectively, then Plan C is able to pull off on this Ivern, then he could just completely steamroll ahead and really affect either one of these really important lanes for 0-17.
Yeah, he is going to need to come out swinging, as it were, but we're finally going to get into the load screen, and it's time to check out the real star of the match, which is this Icon lineup. It was actually planned out in the pregame, so we'll see if it manages to meet our expectations or if the skin intimidation will fall flat.
Yeah, but with all of that said, guys, we are going to go to a very, very short break here. And we will just go to some music, and we'll be back when we load up onto the rift. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Learning Fives.
A summoner has reconnected.
What is up, guys? We are okay, we have to reconnect. Perfect. We are back into Learning 5's first staff show match of 2017. And what better way to ring in 2017 than with 017 versus Free Jump. 017, of course, featuring CPG, Obstucher, UJ, Execute Plan C in the jungle, Sylph in the mid lane, CPG, Deus Jarsa at AD carry, and Panda Blubber at support.
All right, and then on the red side, we have Team Free Jump featuring much simpler names for the most part. Gentle Cat in the top lane, Tox in the jungle, Wandering at mid, Setsuna at the ADC position, and Companion to be at support. And we
Speaking of wandering, he is wandering a little bit too close to 017, though he doesn't know it yet. He's yet to ward over, yet to look. Oh, not in vision yet, not pinged out at least. Wandering They're gonna peace out now. They think that they've been given up, and they'll get some 10 gold though. That's a little bit something.
Yeah, and that is just a little tiny bit of information, just a shred going over to Team Free Jump. Nothing that matters whatsoever, but the Sentinels are something good to keep in mind, because when we don't see Callista for a while, it's pretty easy, I feel like, to forget about the power of those Sentinels. But while we're talking about Callista, I want to go down her changes real quick. She only had a few, all of them to her Rend. So I mentioned before that her E, when she pops her Rend, if she kills one target, it would always refund the cooldown. Now it refunds the whole mana cost rather than just half of it. And it also, her Rend will also stack up spears on targets even when the ability itself is on cooldown, which is something it never did before. That seems to be a really big point, but Execute Plan C coming into the top lane here for an early gank.
The Gentle Cat is in a lot of trouble. Red buff is ticking, and so is the damage. He's flashed away, gonna get out safely for now, but that means that the repeat is gonna be open for business.
Yeah, I mean, that was an extremely early gank, not something that I personally expected. Oh, Panda Blubber going in down bottom.
Double stun onto Setsuna and Companion. Now Setsuna has to get out of there because even with the exhaust, that's a lot of damage, and Jarsa picks up first blood. Now looking for a second one. Maybe he can get it, but I don't think that he really needs to. Good advantage, and that means that 017 off to a great start with a bunch of summoners down.
Yeah, and it looks like it might not be
more.
done. That was really close, but not quite. Oh, Execute Plan C walking into Tox here.
Tox needs to be aware, though. This is a very, very dangerous Ivern with the Karma roaming down and a bunch of red damage to his name. He even has his own red buff to back him up. Wandering throws him into the middle of that field, and even though with the snare, the second one does not land. Panda Blubber late on the rotation, not going to get much out of it.
And this is just a crazy game already. So much roaming and attempted ganks early on. Execute Plan C, burning that flash, and there's just so many summoners down across the map. Both of them gone for Companion to B. Flash gone from Gentle Cat, flash gone for Execute, heal gone for Jarza down bottom. There's a lot of action so far, a lot of crazy aggressive attempts, and I don't think this is going to slow down anytime soon. The really big risk I would say that these teams are taking with this is that if either one of them makes a big mistake while doing this, they're just going to completely get run over. But another thing to keep in mind with this is, if both of the teams are going to be playing this aggressive no matter what happens, then even if one team gets a lead, they could very easily also throw it away with a set of mistakes by also just trying to go in constantly.
There was a very, very wise man known as Dopa, or Apto to some, that said the strongest part about Yasuo is the fact that he is the best champion in the game, but the weakest is that you make mistakes because of it. And if that's your entire team, you got to be very, very careful. It's the downfall of many a solo queue team and Dignitas. So with that in mind, 017, even though they've got a little bit of a good start, as you said, got to play it careful, but to extend this lead, they're going to make another gank. Companion to be in trouble. Execute still on the chase. Exhaust has been burned again now. Setsuna slowed up, chased in. Now the shield is popping as well, and even though he's jumping away, he is very, very slow on those jumps. Auto attack, 1, 2, 3. Jarsa flashing into the turret, still not getting the kill, and that is Setsuna escaping with his life.
And another extremely close gank from Execute, but still no cigar. Much like Graves, Sylph might be at risk of getting ganked here in the mid lane, but Tox is not going to be able to make it happen with that Elastic Slingshot. Does not have the range on that ability quite yet. And this is still so close, Wandering!
Oh, that's a big amount of damage, but with the flash being burned, now Sylph, you gotta be careful because you have no HP to play with, but Execute is just sticking around for so long in this bot lane. Jarsa eating away, still doesn't have flash, still doesn't have heal, no summoners on him, so Tox can choose his lane, and he's seemingly choosing top. Obstucer. Not very many wards around.
Yeah, really lacking on the vision here, and here's the gank from Tox, not quite
connecting. But that's such a dead... Oh no, Trundle's already dead. Tox could be next, but with the bubbles up, gonna remain alive. That was so close to being a double kill if he was any closer to the Yas knockup.
Yeah, Tox just really not able to make these ganks happen. I think he's committing a little bit too much time to ganking here and not enough to farming up, because we just saw him pop level 4 there while that gank was going on. If he had had that level 4 just a few seconds earlier, he would have had the extra range that he may have needed on that elastic slingshot to make that gank happen successfully. He's down on experience to execute, but if nothing else, both of them are having a similar lack of success with their ganks here. Although there have been a lot more summoners pulled by execute, to be fair. Still no kills from any of these ganks quite yet.
Yeah, the only kills have been a very early 2v2 from Jarsa and Panda in the bot lane, and the completely expected at that health top lane by Obstusher, but this is a very interesting Yas, because right now, at 1-0-0, he has not gone for the boots. He's gone for double daggers instead.
Yeah, and that Zeal just looking to power up here. He's not concerned about having to really get in or out of fights too much. He would just rather make the fights himself and just play safe enough, I would imagine, to try to avoid the ganks coming in from Tox. There's a stun down bottom, and Execute's down here again. They knew he was down on this side, though, as he just stole the blue away from Tox. But all of a sudden, this is a pretty big roam coming through from Team Free Jump. This could be something big, Wandering with the ult.
Oh, but it's not enough to close them off fully, and Wandering, when he's stunned up and the Bush giving themselves protection, he is going to get shut down. Teleport, actually. Obstusher lands one. Maybe they'll get a second. Yes, Zach reduced to bloblets and brought down. Should be given over to the Ezreal. Yes, there we go. Jarsa with his second on the board.
Just a much more effective response from 017 there. They pulled their teleport where Team Free Jump did not have one. Just a much... Honestly, it was a slightly slow response from Sylph specifically, but Obstusher just responding when Gentle Cat could not due to his early lane dominance. That's a lane advantage really spilling over into the rest of the map and now resulting in another 2 kills for 017 and the first dragon of the game. That will be an Ocean Drake, so a lot more sustain. This is the most valuable time in the game to be getting an Ocean Drake, really, because it is a percentage healing buff. Oh, Wandering and Sylph, actually, both taking extremely low from that trade.
Yeah, but that always favors the Karma. She's got the heal, she's got the sustain in lane, and it's just going to get better. But more importantly, 017's kills went on to their carries. They only have 2 carries on this team, and they both are 2-0-1.
Yeah, and that in particular is absolutely huge. You can talk about gold distribution all you want with teams in settings such as this. Oh, Wandering!
Snare, but just not there to do the actual finishing blow. Execute plan C. He went for the scuttle instead.
Yeah, Wandering, as we just saw, not quite going to go down. So back to that point, you can talk about gold distribution and how you might want to spread it around a little bit more, but across your only 2 carries, like I said before, the other 3 champions on the side of 017, it doesn't matter as nearly as much what their gold values are. You really need a lot of money on this Ezreal and on this Yasuo, and that's really what we're seeing. Wandering just getting exploded by Sylph.
Flash ult. There we go. The empowered Mantra Q bursts out the Talia, and now Toxelry could be next in line. Sylph, though, does not have the damage to follow up, as Wandering gets 1 more death to his roster. That's 2 for him, and the gank pressure just proving to be a little bit too much.
Oh, Setsuna getting stunned up there by Panablubber, but you gotta respect these spears. These spears are huge. And now, I mean...
The stun passive is good, too.
Yeah, definitely. Obstusher fighting Gentle Cat up top.
He doesn't want to fight this, though, because the Rumble finally has the ult. He finally has the damage, and even though Execute Plan C has gotten in, they need something more, and there's the flash. Panda Blubber forcing the ultimate out, and both summoners of Setsuna still alive, miraculously under the turret, and Daisy tanks it up as they walk out for free. Sylph has made his way up top meanwhile, and this is not the end for Team Free Jump. They have all that they need. It's just about the Rumble. About the Trundle. Can he get rolling? Can he stop the Yasa Snowball?
Yeah, he really has to at this point.
Up top.
Oh yeah, there's a lot more members coming up here. Toxelry and Wandering. There's a good wall this time, but it's blocked.
That blocks it.
Blocked by the wind wall.
Blocks
Okay.
the wall.
Huh.
I
Today I learned.
don't think anyone knew that. That's the
Oh,
thing, but they're gonna dive turret now. Panda Blubber pops ultimate a little bit early, but the tower shots are still ramping up, and he has got to be careful with his health bars because they are still tanking it, still flashing away. Execute Plan C knocked back by the pillar. Gentle Cat has one to his belt. Can he get a second with double buffs ticking? He tries for Jarsa. Panda Blubber tanks another turret shot on the flash to secure it. Trundle with two. Double kill. Gentle Cat. They get 2 for 2, and they make it even. Finally, they respond with a good teleport gank.
And while that certainly wasn't a good situation, I feel like that went about as good as it could for Team Free Jump. Like you said before, they really need to get this Trundle rolling so he can respond to this Yasuo. Because Ezreal is a champion that really can be contained. If he gets onto your Kalista, there's still a chance that with a little bit of help, Kalista can still get out of there alive. There's a lot more that's dodgeable for her, just to name one of the reasons. But if Yasuo gets onto Kalista, she's just as good as dead in the late game, especially with all of the crit chance and potential burst and almost undodgeable damage, really. You can't hop away from it at the very least. It's just going to be much, much harder. You need to keep him contained more than anything.
Deus, though.
Jarza. Whoa.
Oh, it tries the E combo. That is one of my favorite Ezreal Taric plays, but doesn't work out this time. And now Sylph with the turnaround. He has snares. He has a little bit of damage, and the second root means that Wandering is in a lot of trouble as Daisy comes down as well. The chase is on. Execute Plan C being chased as well, though, and Toxelry starts to get turned on with the rest of 017 showing up from the bot lane. That means that they're going to get another kill, 8-2, as Setsuna shoves one under the turret.
And across the board, 017 has just had much better roams. Look at this now, Companion to B.
They knew that they were coming down, and they're still almost getting caught as Setsuna is almost left to die. There's no ultimate. There is an ult available, actually. Let's see if the recall comes in. They start it. Looking for the Ezreal. Jarsa, the one to catch, but they don't have the damage. Missing the Arcane Barrage, though, gives him a chance to live, but not for long as Execute Plan C gets another kill under his belt, and this is the chase on the Companion to be. The stun is there. The Dazzle is there. Jarsa is not. He won't get the kill, but Plan C picks up a double.
Susher maybe going to get dove here in the top lane meanwhile, but okay, will not be the case in the end. Just a huge, I can't even say a swing, just continued from 017, but here's the fight up top.
Oh,
maybe
Gentle
reversing.
Cat doesn't take damage. He doesn't care. He doesn't know what's up. He just goes in and goes in hard. One more auto will do it, but so will the turret shots as Obstuture dodges around, dancing for his life, and the stars align with him tonight. He is the chosen one, as 11-2 will be the scoreline.
So greedy there from Gentle Cat. He thought he had it. He was so confident, and it looked like he did, but no
that
Tiamat
pillar just
active.
needed to come up a little bit earlier.
Yeah, he really needed that a little bit earlier, or he needed his Tiamat active or something. Just one more hit would have done it. There's a few different ways that could have worked out, but none of the cooldowns were on his side there. Wandering going in onto Sylph. So much damage taken.
Oh, but when you don't get hit by the field, that means that the combo's not going to one-shot you. He dodges that. Could have been certain death, but now Wandering into the turret he goes, and Sylph is on the wrong side of the lane as Toxelry comes across with the blue smite, with the flash. So many summoners being used, and Sylph is still giving it his fighting shot as Wandering finally picks up a kill, turns his scoreline around, but that gank wasted so many summoners for so little gained.
Yeah, the kill is definitely good to go over to Wandering there for sure, but like you said, just so much committed there, and that's just going to be a trend throughout the rest of this game, I feel. At this point, for Team Free Jump, they're just going to have to commit so many resources to get anything back. They're going to need to find some sort of opening, some sort of gap in the armor of 017 if they really want any hope to come back here. And it's not off the board. Mistakes happen, even at the highest level of play, which, I mean, I don't want to diss these teams, but I'm not going to say that this is near the highest level of play. That would be absurd.
I think that we can say that it's in the realm of possibility that throws could happen.
Yep.
It has not been unheard of. It is definitely a strong possibility. Actually, Gentle Cat lurking in the bushes now with his ultimate up. The subjugate's the only thing that gives him the win here. This is all on the subjugate. It's all on the ult timings. It's all in this fight. Because if Gentle Cat can win it, he can get the kill, and that looks like it's going to happen. The pillar's so late, though, and he doesn't manage to secure it, even with all that he's done. The stun from Panda. They know that there's someone in the bush, though, as they see that come out, so dodging away Setsuna, taken away by Companion to be as they exchange places, and now he goes back in. The Braum with the CC is so big, but even with the recall, I don't think that's enough. Setsuna has to flash out of this. Panda Blubber. Turret shot won't bring him down, and neither will the spear stack ratio and the rend.
Wandering still looking for something here. He really, really wants a roam in this Talia, but he's just never quite able to find the opening, and Sylph is always responding a little bit quicker, which is kind of odd when you consider the type of champion Talia really is. Now, Susher, to touch on this top lane again real quick, he just teleported in. He just recalled. Teleported back in. Yeah, this is a commitment. He can't go for it under the turret. He can't risk that right now.
He wants it so bad. You can see that he needs this, but even with the knockup, it's just not enough. He goes in dashing through the turret, actually gave him a second way to back out, and Gentle Cat actually allows him the kill. Flashing on the other side of the turret is not enough, and the Stusher picks up a second one. Wandering now, looking for his own response in the mid lane, but with Toxelry on the response gank, that is a second kill under his belt. And they get one. Maybe they're looking for a second. Panda Blubber could be something good for him, but the supports just don't have the damage. And even with Jarsa here, you can't kill off Toxelry.
Whoa. Yeah, Jarsa really trying to get as much damage in there as he can. Trying to pick off Wandering, actually. Playing super aggressive on this Ezreal. It fits with the theme of the rest of this game for sure.
All about picking off people and using the supports. And now they go for it again. Every single time it seems like Panda Blubber has their names. He's got just a straight stun ready. It's Dazzle every single time, and anytime there's someone in range, he flashes for stuns, he dives for stuns, he looks for ulting under a turret for stuns. And that aggressive supportive nature is just enabling them to be so just completely balls to the wall with their carries.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the type of playstyle that I've wanted to see with Taric ever since his rework came out. I hope that we see him in professional play a little bit more going into this next season, because I feel like he enables a pretty interesting playstyle, and it's pretty similar to Braum, but maybe even a little bit more dive enabling. As we do see more dive here.
This is what Stusher wants to do, but with Gentle Cat stunned up, the rest of Team Free Jump have got to be careful, because this could be dangerous as heck. As Setsuna is zoned away. Same with Wandering. This is a low health bars on the team, but all 5 members have finally shown up. Not the same. The same cannot be said for Jarsa, lurking in the bottom lane. Finally fires off an ultimate, but the barrage is late as Wandering boots on out.
Oh, they don't know that Tox is there. Setsuna on the side. There's a good knockup engage.
That's a beautiful jump. The elastic slingshot onto 2, and that means that there's going to be more members coming in as the rest of 017 gets completely knocked up. This is Obstusher's time to shine as he dashes and slashes through the rest of the members of Team Free Jump. Toxelry, one of 2 remaining members, he's going to split and be demolished as Wandering is brought down as well. This is a Hawaii 5-0 for 017.
Oh, what a disastrous fight. Everything went wrong there for Team Free Jump. Wandering tried to ult to cut off the escape path of 017, but not only did they get crushed in the fight, but his wall was cut off at the lip, just outside of the river, by the wind wall again. So the wall only cut off his own team. It completely cut off their escape path through that bush into the mid lane and didn't do anything to the opposing team whatsoever. Such a strange interaction, it feels like. It shouldn't be counted as a projectile, but that's just how it works, apparently. And it paid, and it worked out really
one of the
well
most
there.
Finicky abilities in the game in terms of the damage and what stops the motion.
Yep.
And to rely on that as one of your primary zone tools is so risky, as we've seen now. And with the rest of 017 comfortably in the lead. I mean, we're talking gold leads that range up to like 3,000 at the largest, almost 3,000 in the Ezreal. And with that kind of gold lead at 20 minutes on your carries, you don't have much to worry about.
Yeah, definitely not. And that was a fantastic fight. That was a fantastic set of objectives picked up after that fight for 017. They They get the 5-0, as you said. They get the mid-tier 2. They get the mid-tier 1 and tier 2, and they got the Baron as well. And now they're going to pick up this Dragon for themselves. This is just a complete landslide victory for 017 right now. They are very comfortably in the driver's seat, as you said. Again, throws can happen, but it's really hard to say that Team Free Jump has very much hope in this game at all.
Well, whether there's hope or not, there's going to be a light at the end of somebody's tunnel, and right now it looks like 017 are just training their way to victory. This has no breaks, and every single fight just seems to be going in their favor as Sylph catches out another member companion to be in danger. And with this CC chain, you don't have anything to worry about except for that. The recall from Setsuna saves him in the middle of the fight as Toxel rezones the rest off Daisy. Almost another champion there in terms of the damage output and CC potential, but
Whoa.
with Setsuna stuck on the middle of that, that's almost a death from that mantra, and Karma with the Inner Flames is doing so much work. Wandering. We thought this was over, but it's not. The tick over is still doing damage, and the resolve brings him down. Sylph's resolve is that he's going to dive no matter what, and it pays off.
And this is still, this lead is just completely carrying 017 to a clean victory here. They're playing it right. They got a pick. They abused a mistake, a misposition there from Team Free Jump, and now they're looking to just take this game outright, 19-4, and that's only going to go higher. Here's the fight.
Well, Setsuna, he doesn't have any health left. He doesn't have anything left as Obstucer is under him, and above him, the dashing Yasuo goes for a double kill as the turrets go down, and this looks like 017 cruising to such an early victory. 22:50 is on the clock as the first Nexus turret is taken out. 017, Team Jump just looked lost in this one.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, too. It looked like they had a much safer composition, like you mentioned in Champ Select, like we touched on in Champ Select. They have the old standby, the dual tank to carry, or 2 to 3 tanks to carry composition. It's worked a ton in the past, hundreds if not thousands of games in the competitive scene, millions of games over the lifetime of League with this type of composition. Just did not pan out. This Yasuo and Ezreal really got rolling, and even kind of a wild card here, Sylph did a ton of work and execute. Even though he wasn't able to successfully secure any kills with his early ganks, his pressure was enough to really free up quite a lot and open up a lot of these kills for his laners. I mean, 017 came together as a cohesive unit here. There's really only so many ways to say it. They look fantastic.
Yeah, they definitely just seem to have everything work out for them perfectly. I mean, Plan C, he is pressuring everybody all over the map, and it just looked like he was completely composed at all points. He had the gank pressuring, he had the timings right. Even if he didn't get kills, he just looked like he was where he needed to be. It seemed like he had the routes planned out. He knew what he wanted to do with it. And the lanes won on their own. I mean, you can't say that he really changed it, but it looked like he sort of directed where he wanted to be, and then he just wasn't needed.
Yeah, well, we saw how it panned out in game number 1 just now. We will be back in just a few moments, guys, with game number 2 in this best of 2 staff show match between Team Free Jump and 017. Do not go anywhere. You are watching Learning Fives.
I'm back. I'm still Zeta. This is still Brian. We're the Master Caster pair from Down Under. Just kidding. Only place I'm down under is my parents' basement. But besides that, we've got some fantastic show matches for you today. It's Learning 5's 2017 show match between Free Jump and 017. And 017 coming off a very convincing win in that last match.
Yeah, absolutely. They looked extremely dominant, and they will be maintaining that Azir ban. Again, a shout out to Jump, the legendary 017 Azir player from our last staff show match. But the Yasuo being taken off the table by Team Free Jump. The teams have swapped sides, by the way, as you can see on the overlay. The Yasuo ban adjustment makes a lot of sense here. Suture looked really comfortable on it last time, and the Alistair is a new ban here from Team Free Jump. This is kind of an interesting choice. It does make sense. Alistair feels extremely powerful to me at the moment. So, yeah, I mean, it makes sense to see it taken off the table, but a little bit odd to not see that banned away last game. The Ivern will be the last one here. Oh, man. 017 banning out 3 of Jump's champions, as he requested.
Well, with the Azir banned, at least we don't have to worry about it too much, but we do have to worry about what they will pick up in its place, because after all, that Talia did not work out, and the Trundle pick, it looked good for the first part, but Yasuo is just so completely broken. I have no idea what champion you take against him. Honestly, most broken champ in the game.
Yeah, but we will be seeing a similar tank to Trundle to some extent. This time for Gentle Cat in the Nautilus. This could also go to Companion to B, as that is something that she generally likes to play as well. Something that she played in the last staff show match as well. So there's a lot of potential, a little bit of flex potential here. Oh man, lock in the cat. Just do it. I want to see the cat. I have not gotten to cast a Katarina yet. I've played quite a lot of cat since she got chained. There it is. Yes. So excited to see this. I can't wait to see how this performs. I hope Sylph can actually deliver on it and not completely feed.
Real quick, what's your win rate on cat? Because mine is not the best currently, and I don't know why.
I think mine
good,
is...
not so good.
I think it's not very good. In general...
Okay, so I'm not the only one.
Yeah,
that's fine.
No, in general, my win rate's pretty garbage right now, though, so... I don't know if that's the fault of the champion
I have
or not,
my Ari.
But...
We'll always have Ari.
That's good, yep.
What we don't have is a repeat of last time, is Kled is going to be picked up instead of the Ivern, banned out, so execute plan C falls back to plan B as Toxlry goes for the Rek'Sai.
Yeah, the Kled is interesting. It very well could be jungle, like you're thinking here, but I feel like it'll probably go top. It's a little bit of a weird pick in the jungle. Definitely not out of the question, though. So I'll be interested to see what is picked up here for 017 to round out their team. Not quite rounded out yet, but there could very well be the mid Alawi from Sylph. Could also be a role swap. He could go top with it. There's a lot of flexibility, or a decent amount of flexibility on both of these teams here. In addition to that, Rek'Sai locked in for Tox, as you mentioned before, which I think is the next jungler really in line behind, say, Lee Sin and Ivern, as some examples, and maybe Rengar, depending on who you ask. Jhin is also locked in, which is a pretty good pick for a pick composition with which Rek'Sai and Nautilus and also TF all play into. So this is looking to be a pick composition, and maybe a Leona to round it out. Full-on pick here. This could be big if Team Free Jump is able to get rolling with this comp. They're just going to completely stomp out the competition. This is going to be a brutal... Whoa. Wait, does that support Kled?
Well, that's the last thing I expected.
What's going to the support role?
Okay,
what?
so support Kled.
Support Kled.
Now, I have experience dealing with the Kled, but not support Kled.
Yeah,
so I'm going to
support.
walk you guys through what Kled does exactly if you haven't seen him, and why we should be very, very interested in this lane. So basically, Kled runs through and tries to trap you and keep you next to him long enough. The problem is, that's Leona. Leona wants to be next to you at all points in the game. and you can body block the bear trap. It is a line skill shot, and wherever it hits, it drags
Yep.
in. So Leona body blocks the bear trap. You are effectively delivering Leona to your AD carry for her.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how that goes. But now, team comps are locked in. Sylph on the mid lane Alawi. Is that going to pan out as well as you think, or you think he's going to swap to the top lane?
It's really hard to read this composition, honestly. It could even be support Alawi. I played against a few support Alawis shortly after she came out, and it felt pretty broken. If I'm recalling correctly, Alawi has not seen any nerfs and has really only seen buffs ever since her release. So if it worked then it could potentially work now. It would be weird. It doesn't have any CC, and it honestly, Alawi doesn't bring a lot of damage without items, so I don't know. It's so hard to read this comp because it could be cat top, it could be cat mid, maybe it's Alawi top. Panda Blubber has Ignite on the Kled, so that might, who knows, maybe that's a solo
It's
lane
the only way you're
Kled.
going to make a kill lane work.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. With this comp, it has to be, I feel like it has to be Kled support. It must be, and that is the pick order, that is what their team order seems to suggest, but dang, it's just so weird. So weird. I've never seen a Kled support before.
I don't think anyone has. I don't think anyone
No,
ever
I don't
will
think so.
after today.
I hope not.
Except for the terrors of your solo queue nightmares. But
Not
besides
like
that, this team looks almost serviceable. I mean, we have a Katarina, we have an Alawi.
Yeah.
It looks mostly fine. I mean, I've seen more troll AD carries than that in my last week of gameplay. So
Yeah, and Lucian just got buffed too, similarly to Callista. He's
he
kind
did,
of back in that lane bullying mode. I also played him since the changes. If you can really, if you have openings against somebody like a Jhin to really try to abuse that really early laning power, then that is certainly something that is viable. The comp, like you said, does seem to be serviceable. They have a few things going for them, but it's really disjointed, and that's kind of concerning. It feels like they could try to do a few different things with all the different picks that they have. Meanwhile, on the opposite side of Team Free Jump, they have an extremely coherent comp. They have a pick comp. They want to dive in with the Nautilus or Leona or the TF, maybe even Rek'Sai, and then everybody else can follow up on that very, very quickly. Leona and Rek'Sai and Nautilus can all have some way to CC multiple people even and make it not even just a pick comp, but they just want to find multiple people and just chain CC and get kills that way with this Jhin and TF pair of carries, very similar to the comp that we saw in the last game, really, with that dual carry setup. Very interesting turn of events here.
Yeah, it's I mean, this is Team Free Jump. They brought out the traditional comp last time. This is another traditional comp, and it's all about not getting cheesed. It's all about waiting your traditional comp. Hit the proper scale methods, but with Lucian back more towards his lane bully status. I mean, I've seen Triforce Lucian. I've seen the traditional dagger and to Dirk Lucian. All of these extremely cheese builds coming out of that champion recently.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard not to die, I think. It's going to be a very, very fraught early level or two, and if Team Free Jump come out of that ahead or even, it's pretty much all on their shoulders.
Yeah, I feel like it really is. They have, like you said, the backing of a very traditional comp. But none of this matters at all until we see how it pans out on the Rift. We will be loading in just a moment. We might not even have time to go to a break here, but I think we will anyway, just to be safe. So we'll be back in just a second, guys. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Learning Fives.
What's up, guys? We're back. It's still Learning Fives. It's still the staff show match, but it's a very different 017. They've gone for a much more traditional comp this time, and against the pick style being brought up by Team Free Jump, they're going to need it. They're going to need something up their sleeves in order to make this Kled support work, but walking into a bush filled with their members, that's not the way to fix it out. As Jarsa meets Setsuna in the middle of the lane, the Kled doesn't even land that. Oh, that could have been so deadly if that bear trap on a rope had landed, but unfortunately for them, it does not.
Yeah, potentially explosive situation. They're just completely diffused by, like you said, that one Kled misplay there and a little bit of slow reactions from wondering, whoa, what? Okay.
All right. Nice.
I mean, at this point, with this comp, they're already trolling. That it's going to be so crazy if they somehow make this work, because like I said, the team feels kind of disjointed. For the record, it is not allowing mid, it's allowing top, and Absucher is going to the mid lane with this Katarina, so a little bit of a lane swap here between these solo lanes, which makes sense given their champions. So this will be pretty interesting to see. Absucher has his work cut out for him, I feel, in this Cat versus TF matchup. This is not going to be a very pretty lane for Cat, I feel like, as long as Wandering plays this out properly. So, could be kind of dangerous. This top lane equally ugly, I feel, for Gentle Cat, as Sylth is very good on this Alawi, and she just bullies very well as a champion. Anyway, here's a big trade down bottom, potentially.
Ooh, that's close, but not enough right now. Setsuna still alive, still ticking. Even with the Gragas coming in, I don't think that's going to matter too much, as Absucher takes a lot of damage in the mid lane. Now with the Kled being low, being dismounted, he's got to be careful.
Yeah, and we do see him running up, so that funny run animation. Oh, actually hold that thought, Panda Blubber. Maybe overextending, but no companion.
Kind of wants a piece.
Yeah, he just wants to gain up his courage again. So that funny walk animation that you're seeing from Panda Blubber when Kled is dismounted like this is he gets bonus movement speed when he's running towards enemy champions and dismounted.
Oh, but they also don't have enough damage. The heal comes out. Setsuna alive for now, and with the remounted Kled, he is the one on the back foot finally, as Jarsa tries to apply that lane pressure that we were talking about.
I feel like with both of these... Oh, Tox coming up top, actually, for early game.
Oh, yeah. Sylth doesn't have enough health to sustain through this, and even with the slapping of the tentacles, Toxlry manages to find the first kill. First blood is a very, very good thing, especially on Gentle Cat. If he can get big, if he can get tanky, there's no way that you're going to tank through that with a Yasuo. Sorry, with a Lucian, but they don't need to when they just catch Setsuna off guard. Dashing through the minions, Panda Blubber picks up one.
And Absucher just getting bullied around in this mid lane. So far, this is a 2-for-1 in the favor of Team Free Jump. They're winning the top and mid lane, which is something that we didn't see last time. This is sort of a new development for them. Now, Tox, with that successful gank up top, now should be looking bottom, because mid lane is already winning, as I just said. Now he's got top lane winning as well. Bot lane is the only one that's really struggling, and if he can get a similarly successful gank, that could be huge. Wandering, though.
It's so close. Wandering, he gets traded out 1-for-1.
Hawks down bottom.
Thing, but now Companion has the tick over. Panda Blubber has been brought into the dismounted form. That means Setsuna can zone off 2 by himself.
Yeah, and that gank will not result in any kills, and no summoners burned either from 017's bot lane. That's incredible patience, honestly. When they were faced with death, they just walked right out. They did not care at all. This is going to give Setsuna a little bit of a window to get some of that farm back. Get back up there. Sylth kind of getting pushed around by Gentle Cat a little bit in this lane right now. And it's not really even Gentle Cat putting a lot of pressure onto Sylth. It's just Gentle Cat ignoring Sylth. That's not something you can generally do versus an Alawi. And he's just not caring at all right now.
With Colossus,
yeah,
it's just the reality of every lane. You can't actually fight anyone. Actually, you could. I mean, fun story. I dunked on a Riven, straight in lane. Just no turret, no nothing, because she disrespected the damage. The damage. Nautilus damage is
deceiving.
Absolutely insane at times.
Yeah, it's certainly deceiving. It's something that you want to be respecting. Tox Showing around this mid lane. Execute Plan C just sitting here.
Oh, now he started the engage, but with no daggers, no damage. Can Obstuker do anything? Obstuker, gets out for now. Wandering. He doesn't have health, but he does have a ward sighted, and that means he's going to try and take these down with quite a few auto attacks as they try to bait in the Rek'Sai. Looking for a little bit
Panda
more.
Blubber roaming
One
as
more auto
well.
will do it, but Panda Blubber being here, Bear Trap lands, and so does the knockup. That means Wandering is going to get pulled in, but with the daggers down, Obstuker can do a lot of work jumping around these, but can't risk it under the turret. It's such a dangerous combination to go after a Rek'Sai under a turret.
Yeah, absolutely. That's caught a lot of people off guard historically.
Oh my god, look at the damage from Nautilus.
Yeah, I mean, this is the damage that we were just touching on before. It can really catch you off guard if you don't respect it, and in this case, Sylph can't honestly respect it all that much if he gets hooked. He needs to respect those hooks more than anything else, I feel, because that can very easily result in him just getting full combo to Setsuna. Just kind of standing still here, just kind of hanging out. Not entirely sure what's going on there at the moment. Panda Blubber going to get caught by Companion. Oh, it's Setsuna having a DC there. And we will go to a pause while he reconnects. Bit of an unfortunate situation for sure for Team Free Jump, but they will be able to recover pretty comfortably, it looks like. But to go back to this top lane discussion real quick, Sylph absolutely has to respect those hooks, because that's what can just get him killed outright. And he does heal quite a lot. He has the Corrupting Potion, he has the built-in Allow sustain. He has a lot of things going for him, honestly. But it might not be enough.
Oh, but he
Cat,
doesn't
though,
have health bars as Sylph goes
Wow.
to town the instant he got that ultimate. It's just lights out. That's the one thing you got to be careful of.
A summoner
Yeah, absolutely.
Suna is having some serious network issues. We're going to take a short little tech break to make sure that he's okay, but yeah, that was just brutal on Gentle Cat. I mean, it was Sylph just starting up one slap, two slap, done.
Yeah, the instant that he saw an opening, and that's the risk of playing letting a player that has so much experience on a champion have that champion. It's just going to be such a difficult lane for you, and Sylph plays a lot of Alawi. He knows those openings, he knows his damage, but this bot lane might be knowing
His
a gank
damage
here.
is a TP. Wandering. He even gets the stun card off as he comes in, and that's a kill. Panda Blubber dropped in the middle of lane. The Kled not paying off for now, and Jarsa is forced out as 3 members begin their rotation in, and the Dragon could be next. They really do want this Ocean. They want to be on the other foot this time around.
Yeah, absolutely. And Execute hanging around down here could be a big threat if he hits 6, but up until then is not that big, but he's going to go for it anyway. Wandering caught out under tower.
Execute Plan C. He has damage, but he doesn't have health now, as the rest of Wandering and Setsuna's damage finally goes off. Obstuker has made his way into the lane now. It's looking dangerous a little bit more so than before, because with 3 members here, they have damage and CC enough to bring down one, but will more follow it. That's up to Panda Blubber. That's up to this Kled. Will he do enough damage?
I really don't think that he will. Similarly to the potential support Alawi that I was talking about before, you really lose a lot of damage potential of that champion when you can't really build a lot of damage items. We are seeing Panda Blubber pick up 2 long swords here, so he does have potential to do some work in the future anyway, but I mean, that's going to hurt. That could hurt the vision game, or just him being an effective support. He's going to try to be a second top laner if he goes for too much damage, and I don't know if that's something that'll really work out super well for 017. Don't want to rule it out entirely, though. There is some potential there for sure.
Yeah, it's looking really, really split now about what's going to be effective, because the Lucian is finally zoning out the Jhin. They've got, 20, 30 CS lead or so, pretty good under their belts. Gold not totally reflecting that because of the kill, but with this Cull ticking away, that's going to be a good chunk as well, and
Yeah.
it's not seeming like the Kled is punishing enough for what they've
Future.
given up, but now Wandering could be the one getting punished as Execute Plan C throws a barrel of his own, the cask, to turn the kill into his gold, and Panda Blubber, when he's under turret and stunned, has to dodge out the rest of the flourish. Now the culling comes out, though, as Jarus almost caught in the middle of the turret. Now the dismount, though. Close, but no cigar, as Setsunase is a little bit far back. No ultimate, no curtain to call as of right now.
This lane is on a knife's edge right now. It's actually just slightly in... Well, it's actually still in the favor of Jarza, even though he is down about half a kill's worth of gold. He has the big enough CS lead for sure to even that up. But here's a flourish engage.
This is the TP. The pick potential that we were talking about has paid off again. Wandering.
Oh, there it is.
Set up one. He set up a second. Toxelry gets that, and now Gentle Cat is alone in the top side. But all he has to do is stop the Alawi from winning. If he can stop her, they can get a free turret. The first turret blood, first brick, will be secured.
Yeah, and it looks like they are just going to commit for that. They know how valuable getting that first brick is. It's such a huge influx of gold, and they're going to pass that around to 4 separate members. This is going to be huge. Oh, maybe even just 2 or 3 members even. They're just going to try to give it almost exclusively to Setsuna, actually. Yeah, entirely to Setsuna. All the local gold. 650 gold just went into Setsuna's pocket just from the turret alone, not counting the farm that he just got, not counting the kills or assists. And he's going to get out cleanly with no dragon pressure to be found at the moment from 017. So that was beautifully orchestrated and beautifully timed. Wandering is extremely on point with his roams this game, which is the complete opposite of what we saw in the last one. This is a great step up for Team Free Jump.
Yeah, they are looking a much, much better team. Much more coordinated as well. Toxelry, a little bit of pressure, but with Obstuker going in a little bit too far, that means the dagger is not going to be in place for the damage. And Execute Plan C, he wants to take away these chickens, but he just doesn't have the DPS.
Yeah, he can't commit nearly that much time to go for those Raptors. Tox walking into the wrong neighborhood here.
Oh, this is not where you want to be at night, and Toxelry finds that out very shortly as Obstuker and Execute both burn their flashes. Summoners now being used in spades to try and capitalize on this. Wandering, the next one in line for a beating, but he does not go down. Obstuker actually has to get over the wall without flash. I mean, it's all about his jumps, and he needs that for offense and defense, so a lot of pressure on this Katarina now to really come out, really do the damage that his team needs, be the primary carry.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have to deliver a lot of damage, that is for certain. And the 2-1 scoreline, while not the best KDA ever, 2-1-1. Oh, whoa, Setsuna had to flash down bottom from poor pathing. Just a little bit too greedy there, ultimately. Something worth noting from that last fight, by the way, is Gentle Cat burned his TP and immediately canceled it. So that's on cooldown now. There's no possible response from either of these top laners right now, and it's going to be significantly harder for Gentle Cat to just abandon that lane and really look for a roam down bottom. Another TP!
The third time might be the charm as they look for the double kill again, but Panda Blubber, oh, he's still caught out, and with no turret to protect him, it's just a sad, swift death.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They can just
Wandering
keep
is
pulling.
fixing up this bottom lane with some nice kills, though.
Absolutely.
And, this is the first one he's actually given over, I think. And he took that one as well,
Yeah, he took that one.
Okay, so he is just stacking up kills for himself and giving the assists over. Yeah, it's almost generous.
What is generous, though, is, I mean, getting these big objectives for this bottom lane. Before they got the turret, now they got the dragon as well. This is looking like a completely different mid laner, in particular for Team Free Jump. And overall, the team is just looking way better. Companion to B is following up on these engages. They're shot calling way better than they were before. Tox has gotten successful ganks off, and, oh, Companion got caught out a little bit there. Just as I was hyping the whole team up, but a little bit of an unfortunate situation, but definitely not going to be completely game-changing, especially with that bottom lane objective. Both of them, in fact, picked up already by Team Free Jump. So like I said, Looking great for them. They've got to keep this up, though. They can't continue to get picked like that as this game goes on, because those deaths will continue to mean more and more and more as the death timers get longer, as more objectives start to come up, and as 017 is in more of a position to, say, put down more vision or something when they get a pick such as that.
Oh, just walk straight into him, Stuker, and that's not where you want to be when a Katarina has damage and a lot of it now. But he can't find it, though, as the shutdown comes across. Wandering should be lucky to get out with his life, but
Panda
gotta blame the ping. Gotta blame the ping. If anything, that's the consistency here, and Wandering is stuck in the middle of a Kled and a hard place as he goes down. Shutdown is there. Gentle Cat now slapped by an Alawi. This could be death for him, but that actually is a disappearing clone. Now all he has to do is play the rope-a-dope with the rest of the tentacles and he'll get out alive.
Execute is up here, though. He's looking to secure it, but he does not quite spot out Gentle Cat. Not quite yet. Nope, he will get out alive, in fact. That was crazy. Incredibly close there. And he is able to dodge out of all of those tentacles that come out afterwards. This looks like another pick potential down bottom. Curtain Call dropped again. A little bit of wave clear, a little bit of damage onto Jarza.
It's a full health Jarza. Oh, Panda Blubber. They both throw chains, neither one's landing.
Yeah, I thought there was potential there for Wandering or Tox to try to ult in there and try to make something big happen off of that Curtain Call. It seemed a little bit weird otherwise, but I think he was more just looking for the wave clear there, honestly, and just a little bit of damage onto Jarza as sort of a compensation to make it a little bit more worth his while. Wandering just doing incredible amounts of damage there. You just saw Execute get chunked down to below half health. Exclusively from Wandering.
Yeah, you gotta respect the TF card damage. I mean, even with the Stuker doing damage on these jumps, and even with the daggers putting in massive work, I mean, there's so much potential damage coming out from Wandering and Co. And the Flourish is just gonna make more of it as Stuker looks to be brought down, but he dodges out everything. Gentle Cat even can't land that dredge line, and it mattered so much as Wandering looks for a TP. Goes into the bush, and now Stuker gets another one, though, as he goes too far away from the rest of his team and goes down. Satsuna say he can't even follow up. There's no Curtain Call. There's no nothing, and the Katarina looks to be getting out scot-free. The only thing that could stop this is a miracle flourish from Jin.
He's got Flash.
Satsuna flashing in, throws the Q, gets the kill.
He knew He knew the windup on the grenade would be a bit shorter there than the auto could be, so no way that...
Flourish flashed out by Jarza. That was a beautiful flash. And now Satsuna gets away for a little bit, but not until the body slam comes out as Execute Plan C looks for more of the fight. Companion to B still doing damage, still looking for more as Jarza is alive and well, but for how much longer as he's dancing around the rest of the fight, just long enough for Toxery to secure.
And the recall comes through from Execute. He actually gets out of there alive. Kind of a crazy fight overall as Setsuna and Stucher both go down in sort of a trade, and it just kind of devolved from there. Jarza in the wrong neighborhood, but overall, it is dead even right now in terms of kills. 2,000 gold in the lead again for 017, in spite of all this fantastic roaming and good objective taking that the Team Free Jump had early on. It just didn't pan out for this early part of mid-game here, and they're kind of falling apart a little bit. I don't want to jump the gun and say that they're completely throwing this game away or anything. There's still plenty of time for them to pull it back, but they had it in a decently secure position, it felt like, or at least it looked like they should have, but it just didn't pan out for them.
Well, what has panned out so far is the fact that they've done a lot better than the last game, and with an early scaling team...
Whoa, Jarza!
...featured in 017, that could be beautiful. As Toxel gets one now, the rest of the team is in a lot of trouble. Still is not in the right position either, as Gentle Cat picks up that one, 2 kills on the fight, and that means the mid-turret could be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, there could be a lot of pressure here. Wondering, he goes back to base, but he has his ghost. If he needs to get back a little bit quicker for range of that ulti, which he also has available to close a very large distance very quickly. Using one or both of them could be viable, and they might try to brute force a pit companion. and Gentle Cat, they seem to be putting themselves in a position where they might want to dive us as soon as they get a pick. Can't
when
quite find
Obstuker
it.
has a lot of damage.
There's the ult, though.
TPing in, looking for the stun card, only gets the Gragas though, and that's not enough damage, but is it? They actually bring him down anyway as Panda Blubber, when he is thrown off the horse, he's brought away from the rest of the turrets, and that means that Setsuna Sei is tanking up way too much damage. Goes down 2 for 1 now for 0-17. Their turret, though, is a bigger loss.
And again, just a very well orchestrated fight from Team Free Jump. They use the global from Wondering very effectively again, and they follow up immediately. They don't even follow up. They're just reacting as soon as he pulls the trigger. And the instant that he starts to warp in, down bottom before we saw Companion going in for a pick. And in that case, Tox tunneled forward the instant that Wondering started landing on the ground there with Setsuna to really pick that up for them. A set of kills, a pair of kills for them, the Dragon and the mid turret as well.
And
now they want
more though, as Obstuker, he baits them in, Panda Blubber rushing though, and that could be a lot of work now. The Katarina has low HP, but it doesn't matter when you're getting kills left, right, and center as Toxel tunnels out of the pit. This is what they wanted, but now Panda Blubber wants more as he goes in for a bear trap on a rope as Execute comes in as well, throwing the cast, not getting the TF, and that's a big knock-up as Seye gets 2 kills, and that's huge with the culling. This is a curtain called, and Gragas is the recipient, going down in the middle of the fight. Triple kill for Seye.
What a beautiful turnaround from Tox, just biding his time on the side, getting the huge knock-up. Oh man, what a crazy, crazy turn there for Team Free Jump, and this is the team that I wanted to see in that lull of like 5 minutes. That's all they disappeared for. They were there the whole time. This playmaking team that we saw early game never really went anywhere. Oh man, now they caught Sylph too.
Everywhere at once. And that was almost really dangerous actually. That was the Alawi leap of faith about to go off.
They have 4 members with CC though. And something we can't, I don't want to miss real quick. They also got the mid-tier 2. Setsuna and Wondering both went there off the back of that last fight and were able to secure the mid-tier 2 as well. So now it's a 2,000 gold lead all of a sudden for Team Free Jump. They're looking fantastic once again. There was just a lull of like 5 or so minutes where this really good playmaking team that we've been seeing for the rest of this game kind of disappeared. And it almost cost them quite handily, or quite heavily, rather.
It's started to pull away. I mean, 2,500 gold isn't much, but instead of losing your Nexus at 22 minutes, being up gold is a pretty good thing. So
yeah, a significantly slower game it feels like, but overall there's even more kills because this is kind of even. Companion.
Ooh, so close actually. Gonna probably burn down from the Ignite, and that means that that's gonna be it for now. Obstuker with 1. Will he look for a second? I don't think that's the case. Knocking off Panda Blubber, and the cast actually stopped that curtain call. Feels like a little bit too aggressive for Execute Plan C, but he really wants to keep Panda Blubber healthy. Dredgeline in, not enough damage. Sylph misses as well, and that's a big miss when you need to secure this Nautilus. Gentle Cat has so much health to his name, but the culling doesn't land on anybody but the carry, and that's exactly
Wondering with a stun?
If you think so, but Sylph caught out as well. This is so many health bars just getting traded back and forth. And 0-17, they gotta find a pick fast, or else they're gonna lose the fight.
Oh, this could be it.
But this isn't the pick that they wanted. They didn't want to get picked, they wanted to get the pick, and with Execute Plan C out of the picture, that means that Team Free Jump is going to look for another objective.
I don't really know where they're going to find it, though. They can't very well push down this mid, I don't think. They could go for it if they really wanted to, but they are going to ping out the Baron instead. This seems like a much more viable option to me overall. This could be a defining moment in the game. Honestly, it looks like they're going to get this without too much contest, because Execute Plan C is down, the Smite is dead. Only 2 carries are here to respond. They're lacking the vision. I don't think they can do anything here, but they're going to try anyway.
Stuker is just in a world of pain, and when you've got 2 tanks on your face and you're a Katarina, it just feels bad as Baron Nashor gets secured as well. Toxelry pulling double duty with that smite there, and they just extend their gold lead even further now. They've got Baron, dragons aren't up, the only things left are Nexus turrets and inhibitors.
Yeah, there's not really... Well, actually, the top lane is still fully populated with turrets right now. And the bot lane does have its tier 2, its inner turret, so there's certainly not much left other than those things, but there's still a little bit of wiggle room for Team Free Jump to take somewhat minimal risk and continue to build up this gold lead. If they want to push this gold lead a little bit further, they can go for all 3 of those turrets, push it 3,000 higher, make it 7 instead of 4k, like it is right now, about 5k actually, so make it 8 if they really want to. They don't necessarily have to, and if they get one more fight, especially pushing down this either bottom or mid lane, they will just be able to take the game, I feel like, off of that, or be very close to it. Here's the fight unfolding.
There's no damage on Toxelry. I mean, he was tanking 3 members for 20 seconds and nothing happened to him as Wandering chases up. The gold cards are so effective and they stun Panda Blubber once again. He is the one under fire as Sylph looks to flank, but not with this much CC in the bag, flashing over the wall actually, and 4 members are on him, but this is a big chance to slap it down, and he gets Toxelry. So much damage on this Alawi, they trade 1 for 1.
I mean, it's not really worth for him in the end, but that just kind of goes to show you the power of Alawi when she gets that perfect sort of fight. 2 cannon mains and a Zizzarat on this turret, now diving to zone them further. 017 really has no say in this turret going down, and they will be losing their inhibitor here.
1 inhibitor, the second tier, 2 turrets and an inhibitor. A good run and a good start to cracking the base open, but they've got to be careful. I mean, that Alawi almost turned it into a 2-kill, let alone what would have happened after the second slam started to finish. So, I mean, if Sylph is alive, there's always a chance.
Which is kind of incredible considering he was 1-3 just a moment ago, now 2-4. He has a lot of CS, and it's a very impressive CS number for sure. In comparison to the rest of this game. Hold that thought though.
Stuker gets 1, but when the CC train starts, it doesn't stop rolling, and they just go for another carry. Jarsa in a world of trouble as he looks to be brought down. Again, the flourish flashing out of it, though, and that's a beautiful thing, but the culling is not going the right direction, and he's got to dash over the wall, gets to safety, but Gentle Cat hot on his heels for now. Seye looks for some kills. Bear Trap on a rope doesn't land, but Sylph might. Not going to risk it.
Massive crit there from Setsuna onto Panda Blubber. That was huge. That was really, man, that was a lot of damage. I can't imagine how much he'll be doing to somebody like Jarza when they're on low health as well. 'Cause Panda Blubber got crit and hit by the 4th shot at full health and lost, and almost outright lost the mount. And that's only with this 2-item Jhin. Just working towards his 3rd right now. Doing much better this time is Setsuna. Overall, Team Free Jump is looking, I mentioned it earlier, they're looking like a completely different team. Wandering in particular had a lot of issues on the Taliyah last game where Sylph was just out roaming him. It feels like that shouldn't be happening. Taliyah, very similar to TF in that she really wants to roam. She wants to be the first one to respond. She has tools to do so, such as her passive, such as her ulti. But he was just never able to be the first one out of the lane. Sylph always had him on the back foot. This time, on the TF, someone he seems to be much more effective with, much more comfortable on, and he just had a much better lane, honestly, to really give him that roaming potential. Somebody you can bully around and push in like a cat and then just leave the lane, and you don't really have to worry about them taking your turret. They're not going to be the best at that. They don't have amazing wave clear or anything like that. He played the champion properly, was able to snowball this bot lane, and now look at where it's gotten Team Free Jump as a whole. Across the board, they're looking way better. Gentle Cat as well. It's another one we can look at, but I have a feeling we're going to be seeing some action soon, as some flanks are kind of coming through here, as we can see them forming in the jungle. Could be a fight on either side.
Call. I mean, it tagged people up, but it's not actually going to do much besides just zone them off the turret. Some more objectives can be brought down, and with the bot lane shoving in, this is a very dangerous position to be in for 0-17. They're going to have to pull something special out of their hat to just really come back to dig in their heels. And Sylph, again, he's the man to watch. If something big's going to happen, it's going to be based around him.
Yeah, it really has to be at this point. Jarza can't really make a fight happen. Obstucher can do quite a lot still, but there's not really a lot of initiation potential from this comp. You kind of have to wait. They're kind of in a position where they have to wait for Team Free Jump to engage on them, and when they do that, it's a huge CC chain. We've seen it before. There's an attempt.
Well, it's a lot of damage, but it's actually not enough. I thought that was going to be a lot bigger than it was, but with Wandering in the mid lane, they don't have a lot of their carry potential. Now, Jarza, a beautiful stun. Captain Jack is back as he goes for more, but with the stun cards raining down, the rest of the team is taking the top turret, and the Nexus turrets are next under fire. They are still in line for a bunch of damage to be coming out. Stuker with Sylph, looking for more as they chase in. Bear Trap on a rope, flashed out by Companion to B, and with this big redemption coming down, I don't think they have to worry about much except for Seiya getting caught as he does. Zed's a shutdown for Panda Blubber, looking for more. Maybe they're going to get it, but I don't think they can even finish off Toxri. So much health on this Rek'Sai, and he tunnels over the wall to safety.
And even though they broke the siege with 2 good picks, they still lose the top turret and the mid turret to minions as well. So while they get 2 kills, they lose 2 more major objectives, 2 more inhibitors open, and with this Baron up in 10 seconds, Tox has his ult. There's no way that there won't be a response here, even if 017 tries to brute force it, and they won't. They're not in the position to be able to do that. They don't have the type of comp for it, especially not without this Lucian, with him being so occupied cleaning up those supers in the bot lane. This is not a good position for 017 to be in, because now they're completely controlled by this Baron. They have to respond to it, but it's simultaneously very rough for them because of their lack of engage, especially with Execute now not having that flash. Fortunately, though, I will say one positive thing that they have going for them right now is their inhibitor has respawned, so the pressure has alleviated quite a lot. But there's still not much stopping Wandering from just full-out split pushing if he really wants to. And we have a Cloud Drake coming up next. Not quite the Elder Drake yet. That's still a little while out. This Baron will absolutely have to be the main focus for either of these teams, though. 017 can get it. That'll be huge. But I feel like we'll just coast to a pretty decisive victory from Team Free Jump if they're the ones to pick it up. And with Gentle Cat down bottom, there is no possible response here for 017 TP-wise, because they don't have globals and they don't have a teleport on Sylph either. There's just nothing they can do about this Baron. Plan C has to have a monstrous steal here. Certainly not out of the question. He's got to go for it. He got it!
Oh, this is such a big steal, and with the rest of 017 behind him, he looks to get this game underway now. Companion B, though, with health to his name, Obstuker, the one in the middle of this tank line, and he might be brought down if not for the shields that are raining down over his face. He gets out alive, and they still have 5 members to their name. Even with Wandering kiting around, they're still going to bring down Gentle Cat. Eventually, his health bar has to run out, and so does his luck, as the shutdown comes through and the kill score evens up. Wandering, he's going to be brought down as well. It's just a matter of time unless this teleport can come out, but the flash slam is enough to make it happen.
What a steal from Execute Plan C. That was exactly what 017 needed to try to pull this game back. Now suddenly they can somewhat be in the driver's seat. They have 30 seconds before they have to worry about another major carry coming up, but they just can't get any more than this mid-tier 1 right now. They have to try to get this dragon, just take whatever they can get. And that sounds weird with them just taking the Baron in a 5-0 fight, but they're still just not globally in a position where they can take a lot of objectives, and they couldn't get themselves into that spot with how long that fight ended up taking to fully unravel. They're still
unraveling. It has. I mean, that Actually, we talked about Dignitas earlier. There's a pretty interesting quote relating to this. They're winning until they lose.
Yeah.
I think that was Scar that said that, and
Indeed.
it seems to be the case for Team Free Jump. You got to get it back together because you have everything in your favor. If you win one more fight, the game is over. There's only one Nexus turret between them and victory, and they just threw the Baron.
Like I said, though, man, whatever positive things you can say when the Baron was just stolen away from a team, they still only have one more Nexus turret to go. They still have 3 inhibitors exposed. They still have the global pressure on their side, and they still have a gold lead in spite of everything that's happened. The Elder Dragon can still be something that can save them. They cannot afford to take a fight at the risk of them losing it and losing the entire game thanks to this Baron buff, though. This is where their comp has to go into full power mode, I feel. This comp has to come together exactly how it looked like it would in Champ Select. They have to get a pick. They have to. If they can get a pick, then they take minimal risk when forcing a team fight afterwards. It doesn't matter what really happens to get that pick unless they end up throwing away multiple members for it. Even a 1-for-1, I feel like, could be good for them just because they have so much CC. They just can't lose both of these carries, really.
Keep in mind, though, there is less than 20 seconds on this Baron buff. There is so
there's
little
no
time
time
remaining
left.
to shove into turrets to get anything done. And the fights, besides that one, were all going in the favor of Team Free Jump. So if that goes their way again, gotta get out of there. Seye, very close to going down, because if he does get slapped at all, I mean, that's 2-shot by Alawi territory.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a huge risk. The Baron is gone, though. Like you said, it was very close. There was just no time. There was no opening left for 017 beyond that mid-tier 1 to use that Baron buff really at all. Now they're starting to split up a little bit. They're falling back. They're acknowledging. That's something important here. If you can take nothing else positive out of them out of 017 only getting 1 turret, is that you need to recognize that they fell back as soon as they lost their advantage. They did not take a risk. They didn't overstep.
This is an open in hit, though.
It is. Yeah, they lose stuff for this, but they could have all died and lost the game had they overstepped. They made the intelligent play, really, and
that's almost what's going on here, as Panda Blubber, he almost gets caught out completely. Actually, he does get caught out.
Go down.
With TF chasing, he's surely going to go down. Wandering gets 1 now. It's all about the turn. Can Stuker make it happen with both carries alive? He has no health to play with, and he's got to make it big. Jazzing over the wall, but that's a last shot from Seye, and they bring him down. Only 3 members stand between them and this Nexus, as Sylph looks for a big play, but with only 1 member in the middle of his party, he is not going to get the reception that he wants, and he gets stunned up, CC'd up, and even with the slaps, goes down. GA is now popped, and so is Execute Plan C. The only one left alive is this Alawi, and with the flourish, with the stun cards, it looks to be game over for Team Free Jump.
And I just muted my mic by accident. It looked like they're going to be able to take it here in the end. In spite of all the adversity that they faced in this game, with the bit of a lull for a few minutes of them looking a little bit shaky, not quite looking like themselves, the ones that we saw just a little bit earlier on. The Baron throw nearly costing them hugely, but with no time left, with Gentle Cat really stalling it out for so long, you've got to give props to the huge tank.
Be careful what you say, but there we go. There's the final punch onto the Nexus. Almost scary. Even with the Stuker there, though, doesn't manage to make it happen, and Team Free Jump even it up at 1-1. A fantastic comeback. There we go. That's the potential that I thought they could play to in the pick comp. It worked wonders.
Ending of that game, man, that was one heck of a game, I've got to say. In the end, though, the team Free Jump, they looked solid from the beginning, and again, there was a little bit of a lull. There was the Baron steal, there was that lost fight, but it just took they still took so many advantages throughout the rest of that game that it was hard to imagine a space where they didn't take that in the end. I feel, at least for me, they did deliver on it in the end. They secured that victory for themselves, and they do take it home in spite of everything bad that ended up happening for them. They looked like a completely different team. Just to reiterate that point again, they looked very, very different. They look very much different in that second game compared to the first. So, great comeback from them. They bounced back immensely.
Yeah. And is this the end of it? I thought it was a best of 2.
Yes.
Make sure. Okay.
Those are the 2 games.
Perfect.
Yep.
Well,
that is going to be it.
With that, that will be it for us for tonight. Thank you all for joining us with Learning Fives, but if you're interested in more Learning Fives action, we're going to have a season starting up in just a few short weeks, so we'll let you know about that on our Twitter. You have the Twitter URL real quick? Don't want to get it wrong.
Yeah, the Twitter URL is down just below the stream. We are at Learning Fives, and that is a 5 and S at the very end. Learning is fully spelled out. Go ahead and keep up with us there. If you are not on our Discord, which is also linked down below, if you'd like to keep up with everything 100% in the moment and not just catch our big announcements, then our Discord is definitely the place to be. You can even substitute for some teams, hang out with them, hang out with the community, help out with some scrims, or participate in show matches or the end of season tournament potentially as a substitute. Plus, you can also be notified and have direct access to the very first posting of all of the signups for future sessions, which the next one should be coming up at the end of March, if anyone wants to be looking forward to that. So, yeah, with all of that said, if you missed any part of the stream tonight, be sure to check out the Twitch VOD, which should already be up as we close this stream out right now, and it'll also be available on our YouTube channel within the next few hours. Just keep an eye on the Discord for notification there. I want to thank you guys all so much for watching. Thank you, Zeta, for casting with me. This was certainly a lot of fun. There were a lot of memes in the chat. We had a ton of viewers tonight, so I'm really excited to have this kick off the next session of Learning Fives, and I hope you guys will come along for the ride with us. Once again, my name is Blaster Boy, aka Brian, and I was joined by Zeta tonight. Thank you all so much for watching, and that's going to be it from Learning Fives for this week.